Alright, so welcome back again. So what we're going to do is we're learning about Interface Builder, we're learning about flexible layouts. We're going to do a really simple second example. There's going to be no code to it at all. We just want to make some things with Interface Builder and make sure that as we move things around onto different screens, portrait, landscape, that I get even spacing between my groups. This is really kind of meant to be a preparation for things we're going to have to do in the lab, and I just wanted to set it up as a project. So we're going to make a simple view that has kind of like a top and a bottom. There are 2 views on the top, and then there are 5 views on the bottom, and then eventually there's going to be a text field kind of on that bottom as well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to create a new project. So go ahead and fire up Xcode again. I assume it's already up. And hit File, New Project. Sorry, it's on my screen there. Go ahead and select Single View Application and call this one Flexible Layout Practice. You can leave the other defaults the same, so the company, the reverse DNS. You can let it say Swift, that's fine. There's going to be no code this time, but Swift, sure, why not? And I was still just going to support iPhone, so that should be fine. So once you've got it saved wherever you want, you can just go ahead and open up the main storyboard, and this is where we're going to be playing games, right? So the main storyboard, it just starts off blank, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding views to it to make it nice and stretchable. I actually find this trick of adding UI views to just for the purposes of helping my layout to be really useful. It's a trick that I've used a couple times. So what I want to do is we're just going to be adding views. I mean, at the very end we'll add a text field. So I like to do a search for UI views, and I'll drop it on here. I didn't like it because I wasn't at 100%. There's so many things that you can only do at 100%, which is really frustrating if you're limited on your screen real estate to have to do it at 100%. And what I would like for you to do is I'd like for you to make it some color. I really don't care what color, but I would like for you to be able to see it. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making 2 views, one on the top and one on the bottom. One easy way to make another view is just to drag it and then hold down Options so that you get a copy of it. If for whatever reason that's not working for you, I'm sure there's other ways you can do it. The second one, we would like for it to be a different color. I don't really care what color. What the heck, I'll just make this one blue, and the one on the top is red. Other little things that are useful is you can actually name these things over on the side. So I'm going to name this one top. So I just single-clicked into it twice, and then I'm going to name this one bottom. And screen real estate is kind of at a premium here, so I'm going to temporarily close that, but I'll have to open it back up soon. And so the top one, what we want to do is we want it to take over the top half, and then the bottom one we want to take over the bottom half. Obviously, we're going to have to do this with constraints, but one of the things that I kind of like to do first is I kind of like to get it close. One interesting thing that, to be honest, I consider a bug is I started dragging this one, and my other one disappeared. Hopefully, they'll fix that for us. What happened was, since it had no constraints, you can see that if you select bottom, you can see that since it had no constraints, it decided that it should be size 0, 0, and then get placed in the upper left-hand corner. And so what we want to do, just if you want to see it again, is we'll give it a width and a height again, and there you can see that it's on top of the other one. By the way, this order of which one's on top is completely determined by the order that they're in here. So this actually does determine the drawing order. So there, if I draw the bottom one and then the top one, you can see that it's kind of behind it. They shouldn't overlap in this case, so it shouldn't matter what order you want them to be in. But I also kind of do it from top to bottom sometimes, just because it's easier for me to find in the outline. So there's my top and my bottom. Now I've kind of learned my lesson, but I'm going to fall into the trap intentionally here. I'm going to put this one into the bottom, and then kind of as soon as I start moving it bigger, you can see my top one disappeared. So I saw that coming, so I'm going to hit Control Z. And so I sometimes like to arrange them to where they're about to be, but if it's a problem, then don't do it. All you really have to do is you have to give it some constraints so that doesn't happen. So for this top one, if I just click on the pen area and I pen it to the top, the left, and the right, that'll be enough to kind of keep it in place. If you look at these numbers, it says -16 because that's relative to the margin. I want it to go all the way to the wall. If you would like to, for something like this, you can uncheck relative to margins, and then it's just 0, 0, 0. So I'm going to add these 3 constraints, so that kind of keeps it up at the top. Now I could move this around. I mean, there's a chance that the height might have changed to 0, but it turns out that it didn't. So now I can kind of move this one around and get it to approximately where it's supposed to be. And then what I want to do is I want to add constraints on him that are just attached to the left wall, the right wall, and the bottom. Obviously, at this point, we've kind of got something good going on. We've got it snapped to the tops and the bottoms, but you can see that it's very much still complaining, right? So it's saying that that this guy is missing a constraint and this guy's missing a constraint. The problem is the height, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to make a relationship from this one. So I'm going to right-click drag to this one to where they have equal heights. I'll go ahead and do that the other way just so you can see it on the screen. So equal heights, so that's important. The other thing we need to do is, just because they're equal, there could be a gap between them. We want to say that there is no gap between them. So I'm going to also go from here to here and define a vertical spacing. And then what I want to do is I want to go in and I want to modify that vertical spacing value to be 0. So I just go ahead and clicked on it. I can find it in the side here. If I want to find it in the outline, I can also click on here. Right now it's got a constant of 207. I want to change that to be 0. Once I do that, you can see that nothing moves, just because that's how Interface Builder works. But there is a warning that says that things are not where they should be. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on one of them, and I'm going to say update the frame to fix the misplacement. And then there you can see that it is evenly dividing the top and bottom with these rules. So on the top, I've got a left, right, and top, all snapped to the super view. On the bottom, I've got a left, right, and bottom. Between the two, I've said that they're touching, and then I've just said that they're equal heights. And so that was enough to define everything. If I go to the previews, I can go ahead and click on the assistant editor and then the preview area. If I want to hide this area over here, I can click on, there's a button there for hiding that. So you can see that this is what it looks like on an iPhone 4. If I also add an iPhone 6 Plus, you can see that that's what this looks like. And then if I rotate it, it should look fine on a rotated view as well. And it works out kind of nice that it centers the two things, so you can see that they're all centered and going well. So that's the basic concept that we're going to be doing. We'll come back next time and we'll add some on the top and we'll add some on the bottom. But this is the basic concept we're going to be using and reusing in this example. See you next time.